In many ways, in Pueblo communities, I think they're a little bit of both. Um, I think on the positive end, we begin to see the kind of response to the understanding and appreciation of the maintenance of our systems and institutions in very positive ways that is validating and affirming that the old ways, as sometimes people respond to our systems and institutions, are forms of indigenous governance, the maintenance of language, culture, and customs, sometimes has not always been looked at in ways that internally we can appreciate, that sometimes dictates our attitudes and behaviors with regard to our own value with these systems and institutions and our defined ways. So, from an international level and perspective, and the impacts of globalization, the fact that the pressures around the world are beginning to look at the ways in which indigenous communities have responded to such overwhelming pressures. At least in Pueblo communities, there's a greater degree of appreciating the ways in which the resilience of the people and the perseverance with the ways in which several different waves and presence of other sovereign nations and the colonization of their efforts have not succeeded. I think that on the negative side of the equation, I think is the kind of accelerated movements towards higher degrees of external pressures that is, one, dictating forms of economic development that threaten our systems and institutions in ways that are different than they were 50 and 60 years ago. And it's all driven by the kind of economics that create for a response to the ways in which we are driven very heavily towards economic development in ways that is not very positive internally. So I think a fair response, at least to Pueblo communities, is that it's both.